So Paramount just released the third episode of the Halo TV series, and as expected, it was awful. This is the worst episode of the series yet, and it's funny because I keep saying this after every episode. I would think that, oh, this episode is definitely the worst, but then the next episode tops it. So at this point, I completely have no expectations going forward. So without further ado, let's get to it. So Master Chief does not put his helmet on for the entire episode. Heck, he doesn't even have his armor on for like 99% of the episode. This isn't Halo anymore. This is just a space opera with Halo slapped on the title to garner views. They took the IP, created their own story and whatever story they actually wanted to do, and then slapped the Halo title on it to generate an audience, because they knew if you didn't slap Halo on this, nobody would watch this hot garbage. And here's the thing. The episode is really bad and the series is terrible, even if it wasn't a Halo series, right? Like, the writing is bad, whether it's Halo or not. It's very inconsistent. It doesn't make any sense. And it is littered with this SJW BS, right? But let's get started. So the episode starts off with the human who's with the Covenant. It starts off with her as a child, and she's probably like 8-9 years old, and then she's like kissing this boy who she likes. I'm like, what is this? Is this really Halo? We're starting off the episode with 2 9-year-olds kissing? Really? Because that is what people want to see. 2 8-year-olds kissing each other. I don't understand why the scene even existed. You literally could have had her backstory and left the guy out of it, or just had that be her little brother or something, or whatever. I don't like to see 8-year-olds kissing on camera and having a love story. Like, that's like, even if it wasn't Halo, why am I watching this? Like, why did y'all put that in? Really? That's very weird. But anyways, so the Covenant comes, attacks that planet. She's obviously a slave, and the slavers come and they're running away, and they're trying to run away with all the slaves when the Covenant is attacking. But what is so stupid, what happens, right, is that while the Covenant is attacking the planet and murdering everyone in sight, one of the slavers tries to grab her and stop her from running away, and he decided that would be a good time to try and torture her and attack her. And I'm like, the Covenant is literally 15 feet away from you, trying to attack and look for their artifact or whatever. They're literally attacking your base, right? They're 15 feet away from you. Why are you wasting time trying to attack this girl instead of just running away and getting out of there? This is what I'm talking about. This isn't even about Halo at this point. This is just about regular script writing. This is stupid and this is bad. You're telling me an alien species is attacking the planet, and you're too focused on punishing a slave and reprimanding a slave instead of running away. Very stupid. So anyways, the Covenant comes, kills the slaver, and brings her back to the ship, right? And then we get to her, and she's in front of the prophets, and I really must say how much I hate this. We got this little girl, this emo, buzz cut hair little girl running on with the prophets, talking to them like they're her peers. And I'm like, okay, if she is the only one who can activate the artifact or whatever the story is, because at this point it's whatever, right? You could at least just have had her as a slave. But then again, you gotta show that a woman has power. You can't just have this woman just be in her little corner and just be a slave. No, 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 no. She has to show that she's strong and that she can think and move on her own. You know, you can't just have her repressed by the male prophets. No, 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 no. So of course she even though it makes absolutely no sense, you know, they respect her and they revere her and they're listening to her and they're letting her raise her voice and get angry and do all of this. It's cringy, and she says she's going to kill Master Chief. And I swear to God, Master Chief, like, how tall is Master Chief? Like 8 feet or something? Probably 300 pounds. Super soldier, right? If they make it to where that man, Master Chief, is on equal footing or gets his ass whooped by this 5'6", 93 pound emo lesbian goth girl, I swear to God, I will drop the series immediately. Like, I won't even continue. I would have already dropped it if I wasn't covering it on my channel. But I promise you, I know they're gonna do it too. They're gonna make it so that she is able to fight on equal footing, and they're gonna fight it out, and she's gonna show that she's just as strong as Chief. This little girl is gonna be able to stand up and be on equal footing with a super soldier, because women aren't inferior. And we got to Miranda Keyes, you know, talking about the artifact or whatever, and for some reason I guess she's just an archaeologist in this. Definitely not a soldier. Definitely not the badass woman from the games. And oh my God, Master Chief. Listen, I have nothing against the actor, but his voice is just so bad. This is just so bad. And like, you couple his voice being terrible with the fact that he never has his armor on. It's just a terrible combination. And for some weird reason, during the Cortana implementation in Master Chief, this weirdo doctor, like, I guess he has a hard on for Halsey, like he's obsessed with her, and he goes to like sexually assault her clone. I'm like, what is this? Like, what? This is what Halo is now? Why did the scene even exist? You literally decided to put in a scene with some weirdo doctor during the experiment. He's going to try to sexually assault Halsey's clone because he is obsessed with her. Like, he leans in to kiss her. I'm like, why is this scene really? So let me get this straight. Halo, which is about super soldiers trying to save humanity against alien zealots, and you decide to put in a scene with some crazed weirdo doctor trying to sexually assault a clone of a woman he wants to have sex with. I just don't know what they're doing with this. And so Cortana comes in, and admittedly, I think I gave episode 1 a 1 out of 10. Episode 2 a 0 out of 10. I'm going to give this episode a 1 out of 10. For the sorry. Let me not give it a 1. I have to give this episode a 0.5 out of 10. For the simple fact that Cortana is just amazing. Like, I don't even have a problem with her not being blue. Would I have rather her be blue? Yes. But I personally think that she looks really good. She sounds exactly like Cortana. Her mannerisms are just like Cortana. Now, there were some things I did not like, which I'm going to get to about her lines, but just the mannerisms and obviously the voice and the look, it was perfect. I didn't have a problem with it, right? So yeah, I that's the only part of the episode I like, which is why instead of giving it a 0 out of 10, I gave it a 0.5 out of 10. Then we switch back to Kwan. She's being annoying per usual, you know, because we have to focus on her. We cannot just have a story about Master Chief. We got to make sure we include women We got to make sure we focus on this minority woman in Kwan Ha and her struggle, and she's going to turn into a badass and gonna save the day. She's gonna have to save Chief from something catastrophic, and it's gonna be her and what's I forgot the name of the woman from the Covenant. It's gonna be them two, and they're just gonna save the world and girl power and all that BS. Yes. So we went back to her. She's whining about she needs to get off the planet and go save her people. And Soren, I liked Soren just basically telling her like shut up, you don't know who you're talking to. And he's like, I could just crush your skull. And shut up, sit your ass down, and get back in the house. I absolutely love that. Soren is just like, he is the only bright spot in this entire show. I just like how he just had he had like a normal human being reaction. Like, look, I'm a former Spartan. I can literally crush your skull if I want to. I'm not just gonna let you just run over me and talk however you want to talk. Shut up and get in the house, right? Unlike Miranda, who got punked by a little 13-year-old Kwan Ha. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like what Soren did. So that was another scene that I liked. And then they're trying to... I don't like what they're doing with Master Chief and Cortana's relationship. Right? Master Chief is like, so she follows my command or something. And then she's like, follow your command? I prefer the term partnership. I am woman, hear me roar. I am equality. Like, what? Really? That's what we're going with, right? Like, she was so offended. Like, how dare you? So they're trying to push that narrative. Like, no, it's a partnership. You can't just have a woman following commands. What? Are you crazy? So, and then they do it again too, when it's like, oh, I didn't summon you. She's like, summoned. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're trying to push them. Like, oh my God, leave that BS out of Halo, please. You can put that SJW, LGBTQ, I am woman, hear me more, equality BS. Put it in some other show. Leave that out of Halo. Oh my goodness. Then the human woman attacks a human ship, and she's walking through the human ship with all the worms, just strangling everybody. And this is supposed to be some cool, menacing, badass scene with a female antagonist. She's walking slow and the music is going, and I'm like, this is garbage. This is cringe. This is terrible. But you know, the writers in there were jerking off like, oh yeah, this is the greatest sugar honey iced tea ever. Oh my goodness, yes, just how about walking menacing, like how about walking nice and slow, and she's gonna be this cool antagonist. Yeah, I'm like, this is terrible. Nothing about this was good. But I know they thought that this was it. This was the scene. No, this was terrible. This was absolutely awful. Worst choice for an antagonist ever. Here's my problem. They go and talk about how Spartans have this pellet in their spine suppressing emotions. This contradicts what happened last episode, because Chief literally got angry and was emotional the entire episode 2, spazzing out on the crackhead guy. Who am I? What am I? Where is it? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so if he has that suppressed emotions, why is he emotional? And then I also have a problem because in the games, there's no emotional pellet in the Spartans making them non-emotional or whatever. Spartans have a lot of different personalities. Master Chief is just naturally stoic and naturally direct and all about his purpose, you know, like the average man, right? But for some reason, the only way a man could not be sensitive and emotional is if there's something wrong with him. There has to be some pellet suppressing it, right? It can't just be, oh, he's just a strong, dutiful, purposeful, stoic man who's all about getting the job done. No, men can't be like that. Of course not. Something has to be wrong with him. Why isn't he emotional and whiny and in touch with his feminine side? So they had to ruin Chief's character, and they took the pellet out, And they had to make him emotional and get in touch with his feminine side and whine and, oh, my daddy, my mommy, my past, no, my duty. And so instead of him being, boy, when I tell you I hate this effing show, I despise this show. And then the scene when Master Chief is removing his pellet. Why is Master Chief butt-ass naked? Why are we seeing that? In the games, we have never seen the man face, and we've never seen the man with his armor off. Why are we watching why do I have to see his ass cheeks on the screen? This is Master Chief. The whole point of Master Chief is for the player to project either themselves or whoever they want Master Chief to be. So my version of a stoic super soldier badass might be different from a woman's version, or might be different from another guy's version. An Asian guy may just be like, F it, Master Chief is Asian, right? Or some people may have Master Chief as a younger looking guy with no blemishes or scars. Some people may have him as an older looking guy with blemishes and scars. Some people may have him with a lot of hair. Some people may have him bald. You have completely ruined the essence of Halo and the essence of Master Chief by stripping him down to his nuts and his ass cheeks. Like, we didn't even see him without his armor. You took his helmet off, that wasn't enough for you. You took his armor off, that wasn't enough for you. Now you just took all of his clothes off and made him completely butt-ass naked. This isn't Master Chief, and this isn't Halo. What is this? Like, oh my goodness. I just can't. This is just awful. The only thing I like is how the episode ends off with Soren telling Kwana, like, alright, well, I'll help you leave. Cause even if your peoples can't pay me money for delivering you, I'm gonna collect a bounty on your head. I just love how he treats her like sugar honey iced tea, because that's what he should do. Like, you just not finna let some little girl walk all over you and he is having a normal reaction. I don't know this girl from a can of paint. She's being a pain in my ASS. I don't have no loyalty towards her. I am going to treat her how I should, as the ruler of a bunch of degenerates. I just hope they don't ruin his character by making him have a soft spot for Layla and be like, oh no, or maybe he dies for Layla or some BS. Like, I don't know. But all in all, I give the episode a 0.5 out of 10. It's absolutely terrible. Comment down below what you guys think, and I'm out. Peace.